Hi guys, welcome to today's SetrocJC channel daily video. As usual, if you enjoy the content, please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below. Now strap yourselves in, let's get on with today's daily topic. Today's daily topic is going to be this week's alternative news part 9. So strap yourselves in, let's talk alternative news. So this week's first story, Magic Restaurant Cafe comes to California complete with toilet bowl seats. So they basically opened this cafe in California. Some Yo-Yo Lee, his name is, Chinese restaurateur, and it's basically a cafe where you actually sit on a toilet as a seat, and you have like the soup comes out in toilet shaped bowls and urinal shaped dishes, and everything's basically urinal or toilet themed. So apparently these places are really big in Taiwan, so he thought he'd come over into America and open one up. So basically everything there is urinal or toilet themed, so it's like the place even looks like a public restroom. It's all tiled walls, all the floors are tiled, and there's just like hundreds of toilet seats everywhere with people sitting on them, even eating their dinner. It doesn't look right. The picture, it just looks like some posh toilet, some posh public toilet that someone's invented or come up with. But he reckons it's going to be a hit in America as well. But I can't see it, to be honest. It looks like one of the places you go to once just for the experience. And then you come away thinking, yeah, well, apart from the toilet seats, the food wasn't that great. So, and who wants to eat their dinner out of a blooming bowl shaped like a toilet? So most people, the only time I have a good look at a toilet bowl is when I've had a night out and they've had too many sherbets. No one wants to be reminded of that when they're looking into their dinner bowl, do they? Having a flipping night out and coming home and feeling a bit worse for wear. That's the only time, that's the closest I ever want to get to a toilet. I certainly don't want to be eating my grub out of one. Maybe in Thailand and China the view of the toilet seat is different, but all I picture when I say the word toilet seat, all I picture is dirt, excrement, flipping pebble dashing. That's certainly what you get in the toilets at my work and stuff like that. They're certainly never put in the same sentence as food hygiene and wanting to sit and eat off of one, are you? I don't know what he's thinking. So at the end of the article, the people are writing comments as usual. People love to leave a comment, don't they? And a lot of them are just saying that it's disgusting and foul. Someone's put, can they get any more disgusting? Of course they could. Things can always get more disgusting, can't they? I wonder if anyone's actually used one of the toilets, because they're not plumbed in, obviously, but they've got the seats on them, and they've got the outer seat and the inner seat, the one that apparently men are always leaving up. That's on there as well. So I wonder if anyone's ever lifted one up and left them a present inside. I bet that wouldn't go down very well, would it? Especially with the other diners. Apparently people open up the top lid and put their handbags and their wallets and all in there for safekeeping. That's one good use for them, I suppose. Someone else in the comments has put this, that themed restaurants are a big hit, specifically with the Chinese and Taiwanese. They even have a chain of emergency room themed restaurants that serve food in operating room dishes with surgical utensils, every dish drenched in fake liquid blood, drinks come in IV bags served by staff in bloody scrubs. In my opinion, extremely stupid. This will not work in USA. I give it less than 2 months. I think I'll give it more than 2 months, to be honest, because this bloke's obviously got a bit of money if he's got this amount of cash to throw at something like this. So maybe a year. I'll give it a year, but I don't think he'd be winning any food standard awards, that's for sure. But you got to take your hat off to the guy, and you got to give him his dues. At least he's having a go. He's having a go at changing the way that we eat in restaurants and stuff. So give him his dues for that. Next story. Naked man claims to be a descendant of Sasquatch, or the Yeti, or bloody whatever else you want to call it, this thing, attacks hunter. Bigfoot. Everyone's got a different name for this thing, haven't they? Mystical being that wanders around in the outback, in the forest and stuff. I saw a flipping article earlier that basically it says sightings of Bigfoot, and it's basically the whole of America have seen him, even in like built up populated areas. People have seen him in the middle of New York and stuff, and in the middle of Florida, and built up. He's been walking around Disneyland and stuff, this thing. And basically, as soon as someone sees something hairy and big that they can't explain, everyone thinks, oh, Sasquatch is out again, Sasquatch is up to stuff, Bigfoot's here. Everyone's seen him. It's like UFOs. You have a few sherbets and you have a few bit too much sauce and everyone sees them, doesn't they? A naked man claiming that he came from a long family of Sasquatches attacks a hunter in rural Washington County, Oregon. So this bloke was basically out hunting behind his house in the forest, and he's saying that the naked 20-year-old son of his neighbour attacked him with a rock while making Sasquatch references. He reportedly spotted a naked man near his all-terrain vehicle. Why don't they have to let him near his all-terrain vehicle? Oh, he's got a vehicle that can go on all-terrain. Woohoo! Sergeant Bob Ray, a sheriff, told the newspaper the man attacked, hitting the hunter repeatedly in the head with an apple-sized rock, causing broken fingers, a dislocated shoulder and an eye injury. Before he eventually managed to fight off his attacker, he then held the man at bay with his hunting rifle. The state troopers couldn't get through the dense forest and were forced to use air horns to try to find the victim. A process that took some 90 minutes, during which time McDonald, that's the name of the bloke who got attacked, was forced to hold a rifle on his naked attacker. He had to point a rifle at him for an hour and a half on this bloke who was naked. What was the weather like? Was it a bit cold or what? And so why didn't he just point the gun at him to start with? Why this bloke's lobbing apple-sized rocks at him? Why didn't he just point the flipping gun at him then and say, look, you do that again, I'm going to blow your flipping head off. He's broken his fingers and stuff with these stones or rocks. It must have been pretty hefty. Apparently he recovered from his injuries though, there's a relief. As for the attacker, he was identified as a 20-year-old bloke, his neighbour, and shock horror, he was under the influence of something. There's me thinking he was doing this perfectly sober on a Sunday morning after a day at church. Apparently not. Apparently he was under the influence of something. What exactly that is remains to be determined. Well, I'm guessing it's probably drink or drugs. I'm no flipping expert on it, but I reckon it's probably one of them substances. He faces charges of assault, strangulation and menacing. Is that a charge now? Menacing. His bail is set at $250,000 and he has a court appearance scheduled for today. Why don't they report on this after he's had his court appearance so that we can know what he's got? I want to know what he's got now. I'm not going to find out. What's he mean making Sasquatch references? What sort of references was he saying? There's been Sasquatches seen round here, Bigfoot's round here. What's he mean by references? What was he doing? Shouting out his vital statistics? He's 7'6" tall, his waist is 42 inches. What's he mean references? I don't know what that means. Why don't they be a bit more specific about it? Titanic violin sells for £900,000. That's quite a lot of money, isn't it, for a violin? But apparently it was being played. The bandmaster, when the ship was going down, when the Titanic was sinking, a chap called Wallace Hartley was playing his violin as everyone was panicking. Everyone was running for the lifeboats. Everyone had a bit of a flap on because the unsinkable ship was sinking. And he had his violin out playing the music and carols, apparently. Apparently it had been a gift to him by his fiancée. I don't know why that's relevant. Anyway, it was found in a case strapped to his body when it was recovered from the icy Atlantic waters. And its re-emergence in 2006 when it was reportedly discovered in an attic in Yorkshire. That's in the UK for people that don't know where Yorkshire is. So this bloke found it in his attic. How did it get up there? How did that get up there without someone knowing what it was? It's like, he just bought this violin down at the local car boot sale, did he? Surely if you're buying a violin you should know where it's from. Apparently he had the bloke's initials on it, WHH, which is the initials of the bloke. That's the last thing you need, isn't it? I don't mind the sound of a violin, but when I'm panicking, when the ship's sinking, I've been on a cruise, and if that cruise liner started to sink, the last thing I knew is some bloke on his flipping violin. So shut up. Why don't you run into the lifeboats like everyone else? You could tell it must have been a lot of posh to-do people on the boat, because someone in England would have wrapped that round his neck within about 5 minutes of him playing when everyone's got a panic on. Everyone's trying to get the message across that the boat's sinking. Everyone's trying to talk about it, discuss what's going on. He's drowning out of his bloody violin music. Someone would have wrapped it round his neck. They would have found that violin all smashed up. It wouldn't have been worth 900 grand then, would it? All smashed up and broken because it had been wrapped round his head. What was it this bloke had this violin musician bloke, why did he think he had to be the one to stay on the boat and die along with a blooming violin? And how come it was in the case when they found it? Surely he couldn't have been playing it all the time it was going down, because it would have been floating, wouldn't it? He put it away, bless him. He put it in the case for safekeeping so that someone else could find it. Women and children, they're the first ones to get the lifeboats, aren't they, in them days? I assume it's the same now. What do you do if you if you had like a busload of them like transgenders on the boat, you know, the ones that are born female, they've decided that that's not for them, they want to become a male, so they have all that sorted out. What if they had a busload of them on there? Where would they have come into it? I'll tell you where they would have come into it if I was on that bloody boat. They would have been waiting with the men. They would have been going down with the men. They made their choice when they had the op, didn't they? When they wanted all that stuck onto them, when they wanted the flaming dinger put on, that's when they made their choice. They'd have been flipping drowning with the men if I was on that boat. I'd have been, hang on a minute, that thing in there with the flaming womanly voice, the one that's got the fake Adam's apple, that's like supposed to be out here with us. Get him out of the boat, or her, whatever it is. Get that out of the boat. He can come up and swim with the rest of us when it goes down. He ain't taking the flaming place of someone that doesn't want to be a man. So get that woman in there. Get that woman in there. She deserves to flipping survive more than that. Doesn't even know what it wants to be. Get him out. Whatever. Anyway, it sold for 900 grand at this auction. That's not bad going, is it? For a bit of, is it not damaged? It took them like 6 years to actually realise, and they're doing tests on it to make sure it's the actual finished article, the real thing that was actually the one they actually used. So they reckon it's the right one, but that's ridiculous money for a violin, isn't it? That's the last thing I want to hear when I'm getting drowned, that's for sure. Someone in the comments has put, sounds like a bit of a fiddle to me. People aren't happy in the comments, all basically saying this bloke's got too much money and stuff. But some people have got a lot of money, haven't they? Some people like to spend their billions on this sort of thing. No, good luck to him. If he's got that sort of money, and put it on his wall, can't he? And next time something bad happens in his house, he can whip it off the wall and start playing his violin. You can give them all a merry tune. Next story. Harry Wilson's grandfather makes £125,000 in Wales debut bet. So a granddad back in 2000 put a £50 bet with odds of 2,500 to 1 that his son would play for Wales sometime in his life. So his grandson at 16 years old made his debut for Wales the other night, and his granddad netted £125,000 on this bet. That's alright, isn't it? Imagine that. The bloke's 62 years old and he's basically saying he can retire a year early now because he's got this money. That's alright, it's a good time to get some money, isn't it? Just before you retire. Mind you, I'd rather have it now, but if you're going to get money, that's a good time, because when you retire, you've got time to actually use it, haven't you? You've got time to enjoy it and go on holiday and all. So we put this bet on when the boy was 18 months old, because he liked playing football and chasing the ball around. So that's why he did it. At the time, I bet they thought there's no chance of this coming in, but I bet a lot more people will be doing it now, because obviously 50 quid, you haven't got much to lose, have you? Might as well go put it on there. Maybe I should do that. Mother spends 3 hours performing CPR on daughter's blind chicken after it falls in swimming pool. That's it, you heard me right, this isn't a wind-up. Some woman had enough time in her day to spend 3 hours resuscitating a chicken that had fell in the swimming pool because it was her daughter's pet. So it fell in the pool, and for the next 3 hours she pumped the tiny hen's chest, hoping she could bring back life to the chicken, her 13-year-old daughter Raina's special pet. As a distressed Raina looked on anxiously, Mrs. Rappo applied CPR, but it seemed that all hope was lost, until with a faint cluck, Chooky Wookie, that's the flaming thing's name, Chooky Wookie started moving again. Remarkably, there seemed to be no sign of brain damage. How'd they know that? Well, they give it a bloody IQ test afterwards. Remarkably, no sign of it. You wouldn't know, would you, with a chicken? All they do is peck and pluck and cluck, innit? For all they know, this poor chicken's blind. It's probably had enough of life. It probably wanted to end it. It wanted to chuck itself in the swimming pool so it could go up to chicken heaven, meet the colonel or something. That's what it wanted. And he's probably thinking, yeah, no one's going to bother trying to save me. I just want to end it now. Little does he know that Mrs. Rappo, she's got better things. She's got nothing better to do on her weekend. She wants to resuscitate the poor thing. He's probably like, he just wants to get it over with, but she feels the need to keep him going. I got a picture of the family here, and they look like the sort of people that have got time to resuscitate chickens. If they weren't resuscitating chickens, they'd be out hugging trees or something. They rushed the bird indoors and turned a hairdryer on to put some fluffiness back into her feathers. Was the chicken thankful? I doubt it, because a short time later, after being given the all clear by a vet, the vet got involved. He felt the need to get involved in it. I would have said, yeah, it's a chicken, it's breathing, what more do you want? The family had taken the unwanted blind hen into their home as a permanent resident, and one of Raina's closest friends, she's like a little baby to her. I love her and I love chickens, her daughter said. I'm not being funny, but I would have given it about 10 seconds and I would have had the oven on. There's no point wasting a good bird, is there, if it's dying? So get the oven on. It might as well get it plucked, get the oven on, and have a good roast on it. That would have been the best use of Chooky Wookie. Let alone spending you could have, in them 3 hours, you could have had a good meal, couldn't you? Nice bit of fresh chicken. You always buy another chicken. No need to get Chooky Wookie resuscitated, is it? Have a good meal, have a good sleep afterwards. I always like a good sleep after a good meal on the weekend, and then everyone's happy, isn't they? Daughter don't mind too much, she's got a full belly. Everyone lives happily ever after. Hope you enjoyed this content, guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below. I'll catch you in the next video.